Carl Jung once observed that what we often mistake for lust is not attraction, but emptiness disguised as longing. At first glance, it feels primal, intoxicating, urgent, a fire in the body that demands release. But beneath the surface lies a more unsettling truth. The desire we chase is not for another person, but a desperate attempt to fill a void within ourselves. Think about it. How many times have we felt an uncontrollable pull towards someone, only to discover later that it was fleeting, hollow, or unsatisfying? Lust masks itself as connection, but it rarely touches the depth of the human soul. It is energy, yes, but misdirected energy, a signal, Jung would argue, that something essential is missing within us. This emptiness can arise from many sources: unresolved trauma, fear of intimacy, unmet needs, or the silent hunger for self-acceptance. Instead of facing these truths, we project them onto others. A glance, a touch, a kiss. Each becomes a temporary anesthetic, convincing us that we are alive, that we are desired, that we are complete. Jung warned that this pattern is dangerous. Lust can create illusions of intimacy, but illusions never heal. They only deepen the emptiness when the fire burns out. The more we attempt to satiate this internal void externally, the more hollow we feel. In this series, we will explore how to recognize when lust is a mask, how to confront the emptiness beneath it, and how this confrontation can awaken you to authentic desire, meaningful connection, and a profound understanding of self. The first step is seeing clearly. What feels like fire may actually be a signal, your soul calling for attention, understanding, and care. Jung believed that lust is a mirror, reflecting the emptiness we refuse to confront within ourselves. When we feel an intense attraction to someone, it is rarely about them alone. It is a distraction from the hollowness lingering in the corners of our psyche. We chase the thrill, the heat, the obsession, believing it is connection. Yet it is often a symptom of a soul craving substance, meaning, or self-recognition. This inner void is subtle at first. It whispers in quiet moments, unseen in the chaos of daily life. We mistake it for boredom, restlessness, or hormonal impulse. The heart seeks stimulation, the mind seeks escape, and the body reacts as if fulfillment lies elsewhere. Jung called this a failure to engage with one's authentic self, to acknowledge the needs, desires, and wounds that remain unattended. Lust becomes the temporary cure, a momentary anesthesia that convinces us we are complete when we are not. The intensity of passion masks the intensity of emptiness. And the more we indulge in fleeting desires, the more the void grows, because external validation can never nourish internal emptiness. To break this cycle, Jung urges self-reflection. Notice the patterns, question the motives, and trace the craving back to its origin. Ask yourself, am I drawn to this person, or am I running from myself? Am I seeking love, or merely distraction? The answers are not always easy, but they are essential. The paradox is striking. True connection begins not by chasing lust, but by confronting emptiness. Only when we face the hollowness inside do we have the capacity to form relationships that are authentic, grounded, and enduring. Lust offers the illusion of fulfillment, but Jung warned that this fulfillment is fleeting. It seduces us with the promise of completeness, a mirage shimmering just beyond reach. In those brief moments of intensity, it feels as if the universe has aligned, as if desire has answered the silent call of the soul. Yet, when the sensation fades, we are left with the same emptiness, now amplified by the memory of what seemed almost real. This pattern is relentless. We pursue pleasure, passion, and connection externally, mistaking them for the nourishment of the inner self. Each encounter becomes a rehearsal, a temporary escape from the void we refuse to face. Jung would say this is a form of self-deception, a refusal to confront the fundamental truth that we alone carry the key to our wholeness. Lust, in this sense, is not the enemy, it is a symptom. The enemy is avoidance, the refusal to acknowledge what has been neglected inside. Consider the consequences: the disappointment, the restlessness, the repeated cycles of longing and regret. Lust masquerades as vitality, but without awareness, it becomes a trap, feeding the emptiness it pretends to resolve. We are drawn into an endless chase, confusing intensity for depth, excitement for meaning. Jung encouraged turning the gaze inward. To confront emptiness is to sit with it, to understand it, to recognize its origins in unmet needs, unresolved pain, or unacknowledged desires. Only through this confrontation does lust lose its deceptive power. Only then does desire transform from a desperate search for completion into a genuine call for authentic connection with others and with ourselves. The awakening begins when we stop confusing heat for substance and intensity for life. Jung insisted that the first step toward true fulfillment is to face the emptiness within. This confrontation is not easy. It is uncomfortable, unsettling, and at times, terrifying. When we stop blaming others for our dissatisfaction and examine the hollowness inside, we are forced to confront the parts of ourselves we have ignored: wounds, insecurities, unmet desires, and fears. For many, this void is frightening because it exposes vulnerability. It reveals that no external pleasure, no fleeting encounter, no momentary desire can truly fill what is missing inside. Lust becomes a mask, a distraction from self-reflection, a false comfort that avoids the responsibility of looking inward. Jung would argue that ignoring this emptiness perpetuates suffering. We repeat the cycle, confusing craving for connection with the desperate attempt to quiet internal unrest. But facing emptiness is also liberating. It allows us to reclaim our energy and redirect it towards self-discovery and personal growth. The void, once acknowledged, becomes a guide, a signal pointing toward what we truly need: acceptance, understanding, and love for ourselves. When we embrace this inner landscape without judgment, we create the foundation for authentic desire. Desire that is not desperate, hollow, or fleeting, but grounded, conscious, and meaningful. The paradox is profound. By stopping the chase for temporary satisfaction, we open the door to enduring fulfillment. The emptiness that once felt like a void becomes a canvas on which we can cultivate depth, connection, and genuine intimacy with ourselves and with others. Jung's insight is clear. Lust alone cannot heal emptiness, but awareness and acceptance can. To stop confusing craving with connection is to begin living a life rich with authentic experience, not illusions. Once we confront the emptiness within, Jung teaches that we can transform lust from a hollow craving into a meaningful force. This does not mean suppressing desire. Desire is a natural, vital part of life. The key is understanding its source and redirecting it toward authenticity, connection, and self-awareness. Lust becomes meaningful when it arises from presence rather than escape. When we act out of awareness, desire no longer masks a void. It becomes a mirror, reflecting our values, our needs, and our true longings. We begin to recognize when attraction is rooted in genuine connection rather than unconscious attempts to fill emptiness. This clarity allows relationships to flourish, passions to deepen, and intimacy to become sustainable. Jung emphasized that this transformation is not instant. It requires introspection, honesty, and the willingness to sit with discomfort. The impulses that once drove us blindly must be examined. What am I truly seeking? Am I running from myself? Am I looking for fulfillment in another, or am I ready to cultivate it within? By asking these questions, we reclaim the energy that lust once misdirected, and we channel it toward growth, creativity, and self-realization. The process is revolutionary. Desire shifts from a fleeting, hollow fire to a guiding force that encourages self-exploration, meaningful connections, and authentic experiences. Emptiness loses its power to manipulate and instead becomes a teacher. Lust, once mistaken for fulfillment, becomes an instrument for transformation. Jung's insight is both caution and promise. The longing that haunts us can either chain us to illusions or illuminate the path to a richer, more conscious existence. The choice and the work is ours. Jung reminds us that true desire begins only when we stop mistaking lust for fulfillment. When the emptiness inside is faced, examined, and understood, we are free to engage with others and ourselves in ways that are conscious, grounded, and meaningful. Desire transforms from a fleeting, hollow spark into a source of vitality, intimacy, and self-discovery. The first step is honesty. Notice the impulses within. Ask yourself, am I chasing connection or am I escaping emptiness? Am I seeking closeness or am I hiding from myself? These questions may feel uncomfortable, but they are essential. They separate the mirage from the substance, the illusion from the authentic experience. Next comes patience. Authentic desire is not instant. It cannot be forced, manufactured, or borrowed from someone else's energy. It grows slowly, nurtured by self-awareness, reflection, and mindful engagement. The relationships, experiences, and passions that arise from this awareness are lasting because they are rooted in truth rather than distraction. Finally, take responsibility for your own fulfillment. Lust may ignite the fire, but only conscious attention and self-integration sustain it. When we embrace this responsibility, we no longer seek others to complete us. We seek connection because we are already whole. This is the freedom Jung envisioned, the freedom to desire consciously, to live fully, and to engage authentically. If this journey resonates with you, reflect on your own patterns of desire and emptiness. Begin turning illusions into insight, cravings into consciousness, and longing into authentic connection. For more transformative insights into human psychology, shadow work, and personal growth, subscribe to The Wisdom Seeker. Dive deep into understanding yourself and the hidden truths that shape your life.